Welcome to Techie Wise. In this video, we will be having a brief discussion on introduction to cryptography and network security. So just we can have a basic look into the definitions. What is computer security? So it is a collection of tools designed to protect data and to overcome the hackers. Next term is the network security. So what it is? So it is a measure to protect the data during the course of transmission. So the next comes the internet security. So it is a measure to protect the data during the transmission, which involves a collection of interconnected networks. So the next we can move into the aspects of network security. So here we will be discussing the three aspects of information security. One is the security attack. Next comes the security mechanisms and then the security services. Okay, what is the security attack? So here security attack. So when we talk of the security attack, so consider a scenario of a post office. So in a post office, let us consider I am going to send a letter to my friend. So I am in place A and my friend is in place B. We are going to have a look into the traditional post office mechanism. So this letter is not going to be transmitted by a single intermediate person. Of course, an intermediate person is involved, and that too it is not going to be a single intermediate person. So during the course of data transmission, so many intermediate entities will be involved. So here what are the possible attacks that can be performed by the intermediate entities? Of course, in the post office scenario, there are so many security measures taken care of. But if one of the intermediate entity is an attacker, what are the possible attacks? So here comes the attacker can read the content of the letter, and the next possibility is modifying the content of the letter, and the next possibility is just throwing out the letter, right? So these are some of the possibility of the attacks that can be performed. Okay, so when we look into these types of attack, which attack can be easily identified and which can't be identified? Yeah, of course, this reading attack cannot be identified because that person is reading the content and just transferring the letter to the end person. Whereas in these two cases, that is modify and throw, some changes are made to the letter. So if A and B performs direct communication, at that stage, they will be able to identify these two types of attack. So here the modification is done, that is the attack is performed in the active sense, whereas here in this case the attack is done in the passive sense. So here this security attack, that is compromising the security of information which is owned by a particular person or an organization, that is the attack. So here this attacks can be broadly categorized as passive attack and the active attack. So in the case of passive attack, so no physical changes will be done to the content being transmitted. Instead, only overhearing, eavesdropping, monitoring, only that case will be done here in the case of passive attack. Whereas in the case of active attack, the physical changes will be done to the data being transmitted. So passive attack cannot be identified, whereas active attack can be identified. So the next comes the security services. So when we talk about the security services, so here it enhances the security. What we mean by the security service? So here it is a process that is designed to detect, prevent or recover from a security attack. So that is security service. What are the services that might be required for us? Okay, so if I am writing let us consider I am showing a circular. If you are coming across a circular given by one authorized entity, will we be directly relying on the circular? No. So we will be checking for the signature of the authorized entity. So that is the authentication. So authentication ensures that the communicating entity is the person one who is claiming it, right? So the next comes the confidentiality. Next service is the confidentiality. Yeah, if I am sending a message to my friend, intermediate person should not be able to read that content. That comes the role of confidentiality. So this is the next service. So first comes the authentication, next comes the confidentiality, and next comes the access control. So access, what we, as the term suggests, the access control prevents the use of unauthorized access of any resources. Only the authorized entity should be able to access the resources. And next comes the data integrity. Yeah. So during the course of transmission, as discussed earlier, when A is sending a letter to B, the intermediate entity should not be able to modify the content. If any modification is done, then the receiver should be able to identify that the data is modified during the course of transmission. That is taken care by the data integrity service. And next is non-repudiation. So what we mean by non-repudiation? So once I send a mail to another person, I should not deny sending the mail, and similarly the receiver should not deny receiving the mail. So which is one of the main important factor. So once I receive a mail, I should not deny receiving it, and once I send a mail, I should not deny sending it. So this is with regard to the security services. And next comes the security mechanisms. So what about the security mechanisms? So these are the cryptographic techniques. So how it is taken care of, cryptographic techniques, how the model will look like. So here, this is my message. So here, this is the sender. Okay. So this is the sender's message. So if it is sent directly, then the above mentioned attacks are possible. So we have to overcome these attacks. So how it is taken care of? Taken care of with the help of the cryptographic techniques. So here comes the secret message, that is the key. With the help of the key, we will be encrypting the message. So what is encryption? We can look into it later. So we will be providing the security related services. So here with the help of the key, we will be providing the security related services. And then the data is going to be transmitted. Now the message is secure messages received by the receiver. So the secure message is received by the receiver, but the receiver should be able to read the content. So here the receiver will be using a key, using which he can retrieve the message back. So this is the security model. So in the next video, we will be having a look into the cryptographic techniques. So how this encryption taken care of, so how this security is taken care of, all those things we can discuss in the next video. Thank you.